I was wondering, with the 20 quarantine, the expansion to 20 airports, what percentage of passengers you're able to get to screen coming in from China, if there are plans still to screen all passengers from China, and when you might make a decision on that, if you're planning to do so.
So I'll ask Dr. Messonnier to clarify on this, but it's important to remember the first 5 airports were the airports where most of the flights directly from Wuhan to the United States came into, and those individuals received active interview, screening, et cetera, as well as educating for any follow-on disease or symptoms that they might have. The expansion to the 20 airports, now there are no longer flights coming from Wuhan to the United States. At this point, these 20 quarantine stations are our active quarantine stations. We have enhanced staffing there. And at those quarantine stations, we monitor for any signs of illness from any individual coming from China, but also just generally, we're always on the lookout, that's what we do, on the lookout for anyone coming into the country who's presenting signs and symptoms of disease, working very closely with our partners at Customs and Border Patrol, for instance, as well as information received from pilots or flight attendants, crews of airliners. Let me ask Dr. Messonnier if there's any other clarification on that.
Just maybe the clarification that think of screening as part of a layered approach that we use to protect Americans. And so screening at the airport is an opportunity to identify ill passengers, an opportunity to educate people. But we know that several of our patients who, of the 5 patients that we have in the U.S. now, came into the U.S. before we had stood up screening, didn't have symptoms at the airport. They themselves understood that they were potentially at risk. And when they had respiratory symptoms, they told their healthcare providers. That's how they were identified, diagnosed, and that's how we're able to work to control this outbreak. So screening at the airport is important. Screening passengers returning from China will be something that we'll be starting on a rolling basis to enhance our activity at all 20 of those quarantine stations. But it is only one piece of a multi-layered strategy.